Hello, friend. Today we shall talk about a topic that what are the deployment models in cloud computing. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in cloud computing and you want to learn about it. So, first of all, we have to understand that what is basically a deployment model. Friend, deployment model means that we know that in cloud computing there are so many services are there, like for example, storage services, networking applications, so many services are there. So how you are basically accessing those hosted services and what are the approach are there. So the deployment, there are four primary models in cloud computing, the deployment models, like public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, and hybrid model. So for one by one we shall discuss in detail. First we will talk about public cloud. uh, Friend, public cloud means that it is basically owned by third party, and it provides like servers, storage, networking applications, and many services they are providing. So the best example of cloud computing are like Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So just take an example here of Google public cloud. Public cloud means that, for example, just take an example of Google Cloud, that you are just taking these services through the subscription and you are accessing those services. For example, you can access these storage services, you can access the application services, and basically there is a concept of public cloud, means that it is available for public, means that anyone can access the cloud, the remote server, by using by purchasing the subscription. Okay, like Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, all these are the example of public cloud, like anyone can access. Like tenant, here is the concept of tenant. Tenant means the person who is accessing the services by purchasing the subscription, like he has to pay for some money and he can access those services like storage, networking, application. So public cloud means that it is available for public. Next is the private cloud. Private cloud, if you just see the term private cloud, means it is an example of on premises, like it exists in only your own uh, application or on your own organization. Like for example, just take an example of private cloud here. For example, IBM is an example of private cloud, means that only those persons who exist or who are working in the organization, they can access the private cloud, they can access those services, and any other person who are outside the organization, he cannot access those services. Okay, so just take an example of IBM cloud or OpenStack and VMware. So these are the very IBM is the best example of private cloud, in which only those persons who exist in the organization, who are working for an organization, they can only access, and any other person outside the service, they cannot access those services. So private, and private means the on premises. Next is the community cloud model. Community cloud model means, just take this example here. Community cloud model means, just for example, organization A, organization B, and organization C. So there are three organization exist in community cloud, and organization A doesn't access the organization B. Organization B cannot access C. So these three organization cannot access the data of each other. However, organization A, the employees, they can access the data to each other, depend on their permissions and rights. But all these three organizations exist in the community cloud model, but they think they have their own cloud. But in actual, this is not the case. Organization has their own storage, they have their own rights, and these three organizations are simultaneously accessing the same cloud, but they have their own rights and permission. Just take an example. For example, there is a flat. Okay, for example, there is a building in which there are three flats. For example, flat A, flat B, flat C. So these three flat exist in a same building. Okay, but the flat A persons cannot go into the flat B, and the flat B cannot go to the flat C. So all the tenants or the persons who are rent pay, they think they have their own flat, but the actual situation is that the flats are exist in the same building, but they cannot access the flats of each other. So same concept here of flats applies in the community model here as well. Next is the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is basically, just think of this, public plus private. Take an example here. Community hybrid cloud model means like there is a private cloud. For example, you can take an example of IBM. For example, this is an on premises model. And next one is the public cloud. Public cloud means AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud, for example. So these types of two clouds exist on the same model or on the same model. Okay, so this is an example of hybrid cloud. Hybrid means the combination of private plus public. Okay, private, an example of, for example, just take IBM is an example of private cloud, and public cloud is an example of Google Cloud. So these two types of cloud exist on the same location, on the same there, but they and also they can access to each other. The best example is Netflix, Disney. These are the example of hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud means it allows data and application portability, and it's a combination of public and private cloud. So just try to understand this diagram, that private and public cloud both exist on the same location, on the same location, and they can access to each other as well. Like the data from the public cloud can be portable to the private cloud, and private cloud can be accessible to the public cloud, but they have their own permissions and rights as well. So friend, I hope you can understand the concept of deployment model. And if you have still have any question, please feel free to ask. And so thank you, thanks a lot for watching the video.